We present GALA, generating animatable layered assets from a single scan. Given a single layer 3D human scan and a prompt for the target object, our method decomposes the input scan into the target object and underlying human body, each with complete geometry and texture. Since our method models humans and objects in shape and pose neutral canonical space, the decomposed assets can easily be composed with other assets and reanimated with novel poses. By applying a series of decomposition steps to the input scan, our method enables the generation of multiple layered assets from a single scan. By composing assets that are decomposed from multiple scans, our method enables efficient generation of newly dressed human avatars. Furthermore, since our method models humans and objects in a pose-neutral canonical space, the decomposed assets can easily be animated without undesired artifacts. To decouple the geometry and texture of the human and object, we separately model each asset in its canonical space. We initialize each space with simple X-mesh and canonical pose and body shape. We use linear blend skinning to transform the modeled canonical shape into the posed shape, utilizing the skinning weight of the nearest simple X vertex. To obtain our final outputs, we first model the geometry of the human and object, and sequentially model the appearance. Let's begin with geometry modeling. In order to model target object and human exclusively in its space, we utilize the 3D surface segmentation. We first render the input scan into multiple views and run off-the-shelf 2D segmentation. We then aggregate the 2D segmentation results through per-face voting and obtain 3D surface segmentation of the input mesh. Using the 3D segmentation information, we reconstruct the visible parts of the input scan in the posed space with normal map reconstruction loss. However, only using the reconstruction loss, we get poor geometry for the occluded regions. Hence, we leverage the geometry prior of the pre-trained diffusion model to complete the occluded regions by applying the SDS loss in the posed space. By applying the SDS loss in the posed space, we get plausible geometry in the posed space. However, we face artifacts in the canonical space due to the many-to-one mapping between canonical space and posed space. So, instead of utilizing SDS loss in the posed space, we apply SDS loss in the canonical space to generate plausible canonical shapes of the human and object which can be reposed into arbitrary poses without undesirable artifacts. However, applying the vanilla SDS loss in the canonical space struggles to generate plausible canonical shapes. To address this problem, we use our pose-guided SDS loss by incorporating Open Pose Control Net with the pre-trained diffusion model to exploit the prior for canonical shapes of the human and object. Since Open Pose Control Net was trained to generate pose-guided human images, we use the composite mesh of the human and object for completing geometry of the object. To prevent human space from being updated by the SDS loss of object space, we detach the human mesh in the process. At last, our pose-guided SDS loss, along with the reconstruction loss models plausible canonical shapes of the decomposed human and object. We further regularize the geometry of the decomposed human and object with a segmentation loss, in order to prevent the synthesized geometry of each space from penetrating the other. After modeling the canonical geometry of the human and object, we now model the appearance. Similar to the reconstruction part of geometry modeling, we utilize the image reconstruction loss for each space using 3D segmentation to preserve the visible parts. To in-paint the appearance of the incomplete regions, We similarly exploit our pose-guided SDS loss in the canonical space. Here, we show the decomposition and canonicalization results of the leftmost input scan. By iteratively applying our method, we can sequentially decompose the multiple layered assets of a single scan. Note that we can also decompose a specific layer of clothing, the hoodie in this case, by recomposing the decomposed assets. Our method also enables the generation of animatable layered assets from 2D images via 2D to 3D reconstruction methods. Users can also utilize any text-to-3D generation method to first generate 3D human avatars from text prompts and generate animatable layered assets via our method. By decomposing single-layer scans into multiple canonicalized assets as shown in previous examples, our method allows for extensive utilization of the assets for downstream applications. For instance, by composing the decomposed human and object from different scans, our method enables the effortless creation of newly dressed avatars. Here, we show the same human identity getting redressed in different upper clothing. We can similarly dress a different human identity with each clothing. For the case where human and object are misaligned, we further refine the composite results via penetration handling. Here, we show the qualitative comparison for decomposition against the SOTA text-guided 3D editing methods. Compared to baselines, our method effectively removes the target object without deteriorating the unrelated regions. Thank you for watching.